Hi friends, I am going to do a reading. I've been, it's been on my mind a lot, and normally I would probably not be doing any more videos because it just felt like it was done, but I've had a few nights where y'all have been on my mind, and the idea of pulling some cards just felt right. So I'm going to pull 12, and then I'm going to do one overall, and then we'll go through month by month and see what themes, general themes we can look for in 2025. I had one subscriber reach out and say, that 2024 reading had felt very meaningful for them. And it's not hard for me to do a reading, so I thought I would do that. I'm going to take my glasses off for a minute so you can have a break from the glare, and then I'll have to put them back on again. And I'll try to remember that the camera is over here. All right, so I've pulled the 12, and now I'm going to pull a theme. So the month-to-months are going to be from this deck. Let's see if I'm holding that up. Colette Reed. And if I remember, I'll put the artist's name down below because the artist's so much a part of it, especially if I'm reading, because I tend to read it more as an oracle than as, well, and those are oracle cards, but then as tarot, because I like to just go with what jumps out at me for each reading. And if I'm reading for people one-on-one, that is really important to me because it's different each time. I can pull the same card and have a different meaning. So our theme for the full year, that's our overall theme for 2024 from John Holland's deck. This is usually the deck I use for the full month-to-month reading, but I'm just going to use it for the overall this time. So resting and rejuvenating, and turn this way. If we think about that, this person is with nature, and their palms are up, and they're open to receiving from nature. So it might be that we need to get out more and connect more with nature to allow for some healing, some rest. Maybe it's going to prove to be a busy year, and if so, we might need to make a conscious choice to rest more. Maybe even put it in the calendar weekly or a little time each day. However, to take that time to disconnect from the busy and to connect with our intuition and with our heart and with what really matters. So there we go. Now we'll start with January. Let's see what we've got. Gentle Gardener, January. So when I look at this card, the themes that kind of come out to me are that there are things starting to come to life. There's little beings, I don't think they're chickens, but little angels or fairies being birthed out of these little eggs. And there's a little gardener or a gardener, can't tell if it's a woman or a man, who's keeping an eye on these little creatures that are being born. So we might have some dreams that want to come alive in January, and perhaps it's a good time to be gentle with those dreams. Sometimes we can really, Cracker, you need to get on that. It's time to get on that. But maybe we need to be a little bit gentle with that, but keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on your dreams in January. Don't disregard them. Don't shove them or force them if you want. But maybe keep an eye on them and notice them and listen to them. If those little eggs and that little being is wanting to come to life, maybe take a minute to listen to it, to hear it, and go, I acknowledge you. I see you, little dream, and I'm not going to forget you. And then notice what the next step is. Keep an eye out to find a gentle way to acknowledge that dream and to let it be birthed, to come forth. February, Spirit of Place. And again, some of these little leaves all around look like they might have some little sprites in them. And she's got, part fairy going on there, right? With the wings and the ears. And you can see that butterfly as part of her face, part of her, I don't want to say mask because it feels more like it's just part of her eyes. So February, spirit of place. Perhaps now it almost looks like these dreams are waking up a little bit more, coming to life. And she's still observing them with intention, but you can see she's allowing them. She's not forcing them still. She's allowing them and watching them grow and letting them kind of have their own life. Sometimes we force ourselves upon our dreams too much. I catch myself doing that with, I started doing the wool fairies last year, and then I got into wool art. If you happen to have followed any of my process videos on Instagram. And sometimes I will push something too much and it shows up. Like I'll see it in the art at the end. I'll be like, oh man, I didn't let the wool speak in this piece the way it wanted to. I didn't let it do its thing. I forced it. And sometimes it's still a cool painting when I'm done, but sometimes I'm like, that could have been much cooler if I just allowed it to have its own life a little bit while I'm working with it. So, spirit of place, February, let your dreams come to life, but still allow them to take on a little bit of their own. We don't need to let them get crazy and run away with it themselves, but let the dreams come to life, see which ones are kind of ready to be birthed and to come forth, keep an eye on them, but also let them have a little bit of a presence of their own, if you'd like. Golden Palace, March. There's this beautiful palace on the hill, almost on a cliff. Like, how was that built up there, right? What kind of magic had to happen for that palace to appear? And it has some moons or suns around it. And it's got lots of growth, not easy to get to, but yet it's there. So in March, it might be that some of our dreams start to really come to fruition. And if we allow them to guide us a little bit, I know this sounds strange, so go with me if you can, or don't, switch on to the next video. But if we allow, I always think that that there's energy to everything, that there's vibration to everything. String theory would say so. So then perhaps, is there a little bit of intelligence in everything? I like that thought. So if our creations have a little bit of their own life to them, then it might be that if we allow them to grow and we watch them and encourage them, don't force them, that pretty soon a beautiful golden palace that seems almost magical, like how did that appear there? How did I get that to happen? That we might feel a little bit of support from the universe in our dreams manifesting. If we give them space, if we acknowledge the dreams, give them space to grow, and pretty soon a beautiful golden palace appears, and we can't quite figure out how we were able to manifest that. I'm sure we've all felt that at times. Regardless of, I can sometimes have magical thinking, I know that. But whatever your belief system is, so I'm sure that you've experienced, or I suspect you've experienced, that feeling of, wow, how did I do that? Or how did that happen? I just was hoping for this, and look what I got. So there you go. April. I notice I'm a little pale. I learned I lost a dear friend this morning, and I was crying a lot of the morning. Death is so different for everyone. Sometimes I don't cry at all. Sometimes I cry a lot. Sometimes I feel nothing. And this was a teacher I taught with back when I taught in Oswego, when I taught acting, and he was such a good human, and passed away while shoveling snow. And I thought, he was a service person, had a heart attack, and I thought, I'm glad that he was alone. He lived alone, and he was retired. And I'm glad he didn't die alone in a room, that he passed away in a way that would have been meaningful for him, even though None of us wanted him to go. I did not want him to go. So that was my explaining. I can't see well. I may have mascara smeared and all kinds of things, but I wanted to get this video out. April. Wishing well. So there were lots of little dreams there. And as one manifests, sometimes we see another layer to it. Or while we're up there in the Golden Palace, we're like, oh, I want to try that. Or I want to travel there. Or I want to meet this person. Whatever dream. Let it go in the wishing well again. It's okay to first of all, enjoy and appreciate the palace. It's important to appreciate the dreams that come forth and that we manifest with or without help. But allow yourself to have another wish and to toss it in and see what happens. She's walking away from it in my mind, what I see, and it's already jumping out. And again, for whatever reason, what's coming through this reading is that our dreams have a life of their own. Maybe that will have a specific meaning to some of you, that's why that keeps coming through to me. I'm not sure. And maybe as I go through, I'll sometimes watch mine and go, that's what that was. So maybe when I hit April, I'll be understanding what that means, but that's what our little message is for April. Let's go to May. May, magic prayer. Wow, there's a lot of energy toward, and that's not what this deck always is for me, especially when I'm reading. But there is a lot of energy toward creation this year, and toward creation coming from us, not just being a part of somebody else's dream or prayer or imagination. Not that that won't happen, but that there feels like a specific focus this year on allowing ourselves to dream. Maybe we didn't give ourselves permission. Maybe we didn't think this was a year when we would be able to. And maybe there are situations in our life where we still think we can't. But that theme is coming through, is all I can say. Very strong. Magic prayer. Put it out there. Prayer can be different for everyone. Not everybody believes in a higher power, and that's perfectly fine. So whatever your way of putting it out there, maybe it's writing it in a journal, maybe it's just speaking it out loud, maybe it's just thinking about it and going, you know what, I want to do this. I want to create a fairy garden. I want to start acting. I want to take classes in blah, 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 blah. Let yourself dream and keep dreaming. This year is about allowing more and more dreams to manifest and unfold, and to trust the way that happens, which might feel magical at times. Dry desert. June. It's funny because June is usually a time for me of where May and June, where everything starts to come to life and really green up. So an interesting concept that we're getting dry desert. In the distance, there is growth. And there are thunder clouds that bring rain, right? So while we may at moments go, why am I knocking my head against this wall? Why am I dreaming? That's been the first card that's come up that's been a different energy from all of the dreaming and allowing. So maybe in June, it's a moment of where we talked about rest and relaxation being the theme, that maybe we have to just trust for a while. Trust that is in the distance, that it's there. We planted the seed, it's coming. And just keep walking, because you notice she's not just standing still. She's seeing that growth in the distance, and she's taking steps toward it. Doesn't look like she's running. She's maybe even enjoying the sunset during the process. But allow yourself to just feel and trust and move gently toward the dream. But maybe June isn't about pushing it. Maybe something else comes up in June where we have to just kind of take our time a little bit more. Wow, I just wasn't expecting these kinds of cards this year. I've kind of honestly been a little anxious about 2025, so nice to see some positivity. Okay, so this is July, Peaks of Joy. Look at how, I'm going to put on my glasses. This almost feels like the Fool card in the tarot deck, but it's not. But she is leaping after or leaping toward that butterfly. I'm going to hold that closer. And with pure excitement, trusting that she can fly too. And she's on that little teeny tiny precipice, jumping without fear. There is no fear. And she is leaping and trusting in that joy that's going to come from just the leap, just the jump toward the butterfly, the dream. So July might be the active moment where we get to take a leap toward a dream. We get to take a little risk, a healthy risk. I'm a fearful one, so take a healthy risk, but whatever you want. That's perhaps a month, according to this reading and these cards, of a peak of joy, of a moment of risk, taking a risk and jumping toward that dream and manifesting it. August. So we jump off, we're flying, and then we see there's a lot of things we have to balance. Sometimes we have to jump toward the dream and go, okay, I'm just going to make this leap and trust. And then after we make the leap, we're like, okay, now there's all this other stuff I have to look at. So it's okay. She's able to balance it, and that ship is on a bubble. And there are either petals of roses or hearts just kind of showering upon it. She is being careful, but she is absolutely able to balance it. And we don't know who or what's on the other end, but we can see there's another end. She's not just holding up a limp string. She's holding up a string that is taut, a line that is taut. So taut meaning tight. So this balancing act of August is something that trust that you'll be okay. Trust that you'll be able to balance the things. And sometimes because of my way of thinking, which sometimes is probably too magical a thinking, but I'll turn it over to the universe and be like, I've got too much on my plate. I don't know how to manage it. Thank you for helping me work through this and manage it. And I'm telling you, it is crazy how, not that I won't still be busy or tired, but I am often amazed at, I call them my planning angels, but I feel like my planners are really good at solving problems for me when there's too much going on. You can have a totally different method, but know that you can balance things in August. You'll find your way. August, okay. September, home. There's lots of little things peeking out of this home. I'll look at it. We see there's a clock, there's a key, there's a rabbit, I think, and some other little animal that I can't see because my eyes are so terrible. But there's lots of things. Oh, and there's a door with a light shining through it. So what I get from this card for us for September is, again, a coming in, a resting and meditating, going home. You've been balancing a lot and doing a great job of it. And it might be that now in September, it's a moment of rest and rejuvenate again. Come home inside of this, come home inside of this, whatever home is for you. And home is always here. I won't go into all the detail, but one of the things I've been trying to write a word that I want to start to emanate that energy. Peace is an easy one and was my first. And so, of course, when you choose a word, what shows up are all these opportunities to not feel it. On the highway, loud neighbors. It's different for all of us. Those are big stressors for me. Worrying about money. So in September, take a minute to come home. No one can take this away. No one can take this piece away. I can choose to let my environment, and I often do, choose to let my environment take my peace away. But the truth is, my peace is up to me. My kindness, my well-being is up to me. And no one in my environment really can take that away from me. Now, that said, I am aware that there are times in our life and places in the world where peace is not even a word that can be on the radar. So I have a luxury in even choosing that word to a large degree. So I don't want to disregard that that is not something that's available to everyone. So for you, you might need to choose a different word. You might need to choose something else that feels more timely and accurate to the space that you're in. But what's your coming home? What's your coming home to you in September that you can focus on and feel as safe as possible in? What's that home for you? It's usually something in here. October, a one-ring circus. October, it's interesting because we've had all of this energy of dreaming and manifesting and movement and the golden palace on top. And here we've got this same kind of crevice, like how did that elephant get up there? How is that possible? How is that possible? And he's riding, or she are riding on top of this elephant, on top of this giant rock, on top of the water. But somehow it got up there. And as I look at this card, I see this person actually isn't terribly worried that's riding the elephant. The elephant's reaching back the trunk as if in connection. I don't know if you can see the trunk comes back almost to touch the foot, so they almost make a circle. They're working together. So even though it's a one-ring circus, really, the elephant isn't alone and that little rider isn't alone, right? They may be looking like they're stranded on this rock, but they're not alone. And when I look at their faces, there's a determination in the elephant to listen and to figure it out and to make sure that the rider knows that I'm here with you. And the rider is looking around, has a little more perspective because they're up just a little bit higher. But they're kind of just watching. They don't look afraid. So one-ring circus, and I'll bet that there are other symbolic elements to a one-ring circus than I'm aware of that you might be able to read into it for yourself. But what I see just from this card is that no matter what, when we feel stranded or when we feel like we're doing our dreams on our own, we're not all alone. It may look like a one-ring circus, but we're not alone. There's something else or someone else. If we take a moment to listen or to feel, that we're going to sense that we're not completely alone. Sometimes that's really important to feel. Sometimes we have to rest and rejuvenate to be able to hear that and feel that. Oh, I love this one. This one ties so much for me in with Gentle Gardener. This was the one we got at the beginning. And this one is November. Field of Dreams. Almost like a close-up of what happened at the beginning of the year. So maybe in November we circle back through some of our rest and rejuvenation and focusing, and we start to go, you know what, look how many of my dreams I manifest this year. It's so important sometimes to take stock and do gratitude right at night, and sometimes a few times a year write the things that have gone really well, the dreams that have manifest that we forget about because we jump to the next one. But so many of them, a field of dreams out there. That's beautiful that came with this one. I've never connected those cards before, but there's absolutely a connection to what's going on there, and these little dreams and fairies and creatures coming to life, and there's still more to come, and they are enjoying being. Our dreams are enjoying being, and there's some that are in wonder, there's some that are kind of just waking up, right? And some that are like, I wonder what else I want to do. I think I'm going to fly off this egg and go take a look around at what I want to do next. So Field of Dreams. And our last one of the year, magic stream. Let's see if I can hold that so you can see it. This little heron or stork, I'm not sure which, shows up in a few of the cards. And often, again, it shows up, I think, in a card where it looks like it's a lonely card, and they tend to be lone birds. So I think that's a heron. But it will often show up with something else. In this one, I'm not seeing another creature. I may be missing it in the dream, magic stream. But that heron is focused on something across the water. Can you see that? It shows up, and the most light in the picture is on the wing. And it's looking over here at something that we can't see. And at the top of this unusual waterfall is a tree and new growth. So know that in December, it might be that we start to feel, we took note of our dreams and how many came to pass in November. Sorry, the heat turned on. And in December, we might be looking at another aspect of a dream that we missed. We might be seeing something that really was magical that we did not realize at the time how magical it was, how beautiful it was, whatever your word for magic is. And really, magic is just something that I can't construct with my own mind in advance, right? And I'm like, how did that happen? It feels like magic. Sometimes when we break it down, we're like, oh, well, he put the card under here and he lifted the cup and we can break it down. But until we really do, it's magic. And most of us like to have a little bit of that in our lives. So know that there's more growth ahead as we end the year. There's more dreams ahead, even though we've manifested so much. There's more to come. And remember that when it feels like it's an imbalance, like too much is coming forth, we're manifesting too many dreams, which I wouldn't have expected for 2025. So let's hope this is the way it unfolds for us, that we can pull back and rest and rejuvenate and go in nature and be still. And in nature, we're never alone. I felt that before. When my mom died, the only thing I could do, I couldn't be around people. I could only handle being in nature because I didn't have to talk. And it just listened without me saying anything. And it gave to me without me giving anything. I just would walk along and feel the energy of the trees and the sky and the sun and the leaves and the ground beneath my feet. So, December, allow yourself, if you want to acknowledge the magic of the year and to allow yourself to peek at the possibilities ahead for 2026. That feels so far away now. And I really think that's it. It feels like there's a lot of beauty in the year. The other thing that kind of has come through to me as I was preparing for this was the need to reach out to others and show up for others, even in small ways. I have a lot of social anxiety, so I can't do, this is where this is really good for me because I can be with you, but I don't have to respond to thousands of people individually, although I try to respond on the channel as best I can. But it allows me to exchange positive energy with you in a way that I can manage. And I just don't do parties anymore. I can't do that. So as much as you can, find whatever ways to connect with others that you can. We are in a time where loving others is more important than ever. I've said it before, but being kind on the highway is a great way to express love to others. Being more patient with others, being more patient with ourselves. Let yourself dream and be patient if it doesn't immediately show up. Let yourself walk through that dry desert and trust that it's there. And in the meantime, let yourself show up for those in your life that you know you need to show up for. And it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be a big to-do. It can just be hello, a quick visit, a phone call, a message, whatever you can manage that feels manageable to you. Thank you for being with me. If I find time, I'll throw out more videos this year. If I don't, a lot of it's energy level and noise level. This may be it for the year, but if I can, I'll do more. But know that I'm sending love to you, and I'm really grateful to all of you for spending time with me and for the sweet messages that you leave. I swear I have the coolest group of subscribers still. I'll still get the sweetest messages, and it's probably been almost a year since I made videos. So thank you for being such a cool community, really. Thank you. And I'll hope to see you again soon, but if not, know that I am sending love and light your way.